The Wednesday week is sponsored by Oddballs, a Speciality. Go to www.oddballsaspeciality.com.
There's a chance here, a great save by Turner from McClare. Might come a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
The Wednesday week! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line first of all, we've got James. Hello there, James Oldbean.
Right, Arsene Wenger, Tony Adams, that fat comedian from the telly, George Graham, Piers Morgan, Ian Wright, that bloke from Fever Pitch, Alan curly-haired Mother Chuffer Davies. Your boys took a hell of a beating.
We'll get there, old boy, we'll get there. Don't worry, hold your horses. Victoria, how are you, my darling?
Martin Keown, your boys took one hell of a
him.
beating. Oh my God. Paul Alcock, your boys took a hell of a beating. Boom.
Well, that's the Arsenal bit done. Actually, we're a couple of Wednesday weekers down this week. Eddie is off on his travels out in New York, and Fudge is off doing his fudginess again. So we've got
our favourite.
We've got a super sub
Sod
on.
them.
Absolutely. Backed by a popular band. It's Joe Cran. Hi there, Joe, old boy.
How's it going? I feel like there's pressure on me to list Arsenal fans now. My brain's gone blank. I'm struggling.
No, I think we've just about done them.
There's enough of them. I missed off Brooklyn Beckham from my list, and apparently Prince Harry is another fan.
I think Prince Harry just picks and chooses when he wants, to be honest.
We'll get to the Arsenal soon enough, don't worry. I know we're all very, very excited about that. But before we do that, shall we have a little chat about the first game that we've not completed this week? The little mini derby-ish type thing. Are we calling this a derby or not?
I don't even remember it. Let's just scratch it out. Forget
It's a derby.
It's gone.
Is it really
No one
derby?
cares.
It's 12 minutes on the train. It's actually quicker for me to get to Rotherham than it is for me to get to Hillsborough.
Well, that's definitely the derby criteria sorted. But I mean, it has to be said, this one as well. I mean, looking at the sort of stats on paper, it looked like a pretty even game. But I've not been that relaxed in a long time watching the Wednesdays.
It wasn't an even game. We absolutely walloped them. It should have been about 5 or 6-1 that game. In fact, it should have been 5 or 6-0. I was gutted that we conceded at the end. I have to do my usual disclaimer at this point and say I'm not going to lie. I don't remember a lot about the game, but I have watched the highlights back. And that spell at the beginning of the second half was brilliant, wasn't it? We were just on fire. They're a poor team, Rotherham. I will be surprised if they survive in the Championship this season. But to say that we barely really got out of first gear in the first half, second half we just stepped it up and just walked all over them. How did Barry Bannon not score a hat-trick?
I don't know. He's struggling, and he seems to be doing everything but scoring at the minute. I mean, I've been lucky enough to get to watch the last two games, obviously the Arsenal game and the Rovrum one, which is, I think, the first time that's happened in South Africa since I've moved here. But no, I mean, I've been so impressed with Barry Bannon. His work rate and his technical ability is superb. For me, him and Forrest and Brighton were the two best players in the park against Rotherham. I thought they were both incredible.
I get slightly bored of saying this, but I thought Kieran Lee was fantastic. It's almost a given now, isn't it, that Kieran Lee is just brilliant week in, week out. He doesn't have bad games.
No, absolutely.
I remember talking to the Dean Furman. Is the ex-South African national captain. He was telling me about Kieran Lee when he first signed for us. And remember, he was a bit slow at the marks when he first came. And Dean said to me, he said, just watch. He says he'll come right. He's a great little player, and it's amazing to see how he's done over the last couple of seasons. He's really blossomed, hasn't he?
I think that's right. I think when we first signed Kieran Lee, yes, he was awesome. And we were like, oh my God, look at this kid. Like, what were Man United thinking? And then he did go off the boil a bit. Like, to be fair, he wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he wasn't the Kieran Lee that we've got now. And to see him, like, a few years later, he's relatively young. He's the same age as me. Quite young.
You keep telling yourself that, my darling.
Shut your face. So he is, and he's he is coming of age again. It's like he's rejigged this whole career all over again. And he looks like now a 22, 23-year-old lad that's had a chance, lost it a bit, got it again. Yeah, he's 27, 28, but he has come around again. I think he was outstanding against Rotherham, as usual this season, absolutely as usual. And he had a great game. I think he's just one that, for now, I hope we can rely on for the next 7 years.
No, absolutely.
7 years might be a push.
I could go for 7 years. Come on, Kieran. Do it for the oldies. We can do this. 7 years. He's a defensive midfielder when he wants to be. So let him drop back. He can do a Lee Bullen. We'll have him in net. We're not bothered.
Let me tell you the best part of not the best part of the day. The best part of the day was the fact that we won the game. But brilliant moment, obviously, after the game. You've got 2,800 or whatever it was Wednesday fans all pouring out of the stadium, and obviously quite a lot heading back to Rotherham train station to catch the train to Sheffield. So there's a queue of Wednesdayites queuing to get into the train station. And we were quite fortunate we were towards the front of the queue. So the first train that pulled up, we got on. So you've got this train that's basically just full of Wednesday fans, and we're squeezing down into the carriage. And I just looked to my right and sat there among this sea of Wednesday fans, two people wearing full Rotherham kit, Rotherham jacket, Rotherham bobble hats on. This guy and his little lad. I just said, I wouldn't want to be these two sat here right now.
Can I say full kit wankers on here?
Absolutely. Podcast old boy, there is no rule. But no, it's absolutely a brilliant day. Of course, it did take Sam Hutchinson right through until the 75th minute to pick up his requisite yellow card.
Unbelievable. Well done, Sam.
Absolutely. Well done,
75 Sam. Minutes. Unbelievable.
And he got it for diving, of all things.
Crazy.
I think
no 2 feet in the air, no broken cheekbones, no nothing. Just Sam Hutchinson diving.
I don't know if you saw it. It was a proper dive as well. It wasn't even like marginal. He didn't even touch him. I don't know if you got to see the replay.
Awful.
It was ridiculous.
I think I was getting a little bit worried that he might get to the end of the game without a yellow card. So,
What do I do?
Well, we'll try this. But, I mean, it must be said, again, Hutchinson had a cracking game as well, didn't he? So I don't think anybody really had a bad game, actually.
The most exciting thing for me, and again in the Arsenal game, I mean, I know we're going to talk about it in a bit, but the togetherness that's there is unlike I have seen from a Wednesday team in a long time. They just seem to want to be there. All the players seem to be happy with each other, and they all just seem to want to be playing. And I think that's incredible. And that I think is better than any sort of talent that you can pick up.
I'd agree with that. I'd say we're almost back to 10 years ago. We're almost back to that camaraderie that we had when we got to Cardiff. And yeah, we were a much worse team, don't get me wrong, but that camaraderie is there, and it seems like everyone is actually mates with each other as well.
Yeah,
and anyone knows, no matter what job you do, you could be working in a bank, you could be working in an office, you could be on a football team, but as long as you all get on with each other and you all understand the individual goals that you've got, you work well.
Yeah.
And I think that is 100%. We've got that back again, and we've not seen that probably really since 2004-2005 season.
Agreed.
It's great as well that all the players seem to have faith in each other, and they complement each other well. They obviously like the system that they're playing now. It works for that group of players, and we were talking about how Kieran Lee's thriving, and I wonder how much of that is down to the faith that he's got with the players that are playing around him, the quality of the players playing around him, like having Barry Bannon, Sam Hutchinson in the form that he's in. I think that's really significant as well.
No, for sure.
No, absolutely. But at the end of the day, 3 points. Again, like James said earlier, it's a shame we didn't manage to keep that clean sheet. It was Westwood's birthday as well, so that would have been lovely to keep that clean sheet for him. But again, even when the goal went in, the phrase squeaky bum cream didn't even enter my mind. I was still that relaxed about the whole thing. So, yeah, brilliant. 3 points, and we're prepared then for the next game. Ladies and gentlemen, my word. I mean, who was expecting this?
What a time to be alive.
Oh, my good Lord. I think the only
It's like we've rewound 25 years. It's brilliant.
I think the only person that was actually expecting this was the person playing it down most, which was Carlos. Of course, he had his interview at the beginning of the week saying that we had a 10% chance of winning the game. Do we think Carlos was playing a few psychological games there with the Arsenal
100%. definitely.
Absolutely.
He made out like we were going to play a second string side, and he only made changes that were forced, really, in the end. I don't think they expect us to play that stronger side. And I think you're 100% right. I definitely think he was playing a few mind games. He's a modern football coach, and I think that it's part of the lessons, isn't it? I think they're in coaching school how to mess around with the other person's head.
No, I think you're absolutely right, old boy. And I think Carlos, he's just got such a lovely little face. He just does it so well. Yeah, I'm not going to go face. He's just utterly... I'll be honest with you, I believed him. I thought he was playing down our chances, so the Wednesdayites wouldn't get too excited and get on the back if we got utterly trounced. But, I mean, whatever he's done, clearly the players weren't worried about being on the pitch. They weren't scared of the big name of Arsenal. I think Carlos has got this absolutely bang on.
He is, to all intents and purposes, he is an absolute genius. He really is. he played it down before. He played it down before the game. He played the right team. He told them the right things. They went out there with no fear at all. They went out there and just thought, "Yeah, come on, then we might as well win this game. Yeah, come on, let's do it." Just brilliant. And to say we not saying we lost a bit of faith with Carlos, but we were certainly questioning him not that long ago to now, where I think this guy, give him a swimming pool, he can walk across it.
I don't know if it was the last podcast I was on, and we were saying that it was a bad run at the time, and I think it was just after the transfer window had closed, and I said at the time, I just think they need a bit of time to gel, and I think that's actually how it's worked out. I think that once they'd finally got a point when they knew their roles and they knew how they were meant to be playing, I think there started to be a bit of a turnaround, and now we're playing the same squad, we're playing the same regular players, and I think that makes a massive difference in terms of how you play consistently.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously we did make a few changes. A notable one was, of course, Mr. Wildsmith coming back into the goal as well. And again, he didn't have a great deal to do, but when he did, it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? I'm so excited about Joel Wildsmith. I really, really am.
I think it was just nice of Mertesacker to turn up in the 70th minute just to show
him something to do.
Mr. Wildsmith, here you go, mate, make a save. It was lovely to see him. I think we'd gone all night waiting to see some world class, and Mr. Mertesacker stepped up, 69th, 70th minute, and had a go, didn't do it. So that's fine, but it was great to see a Premier League player turn up at Hillsborough.
Well, to be honest, I don't think we really did see much of anybody from Arsenal turn up at Hillsborough, did we? Absolutely shocking. Another thing, again, I don't know if it sort of plays into Carlos's mind games, but do you think, quite simply, Arsenal just expected to turn up and run us over and just basically just didn't give us the respect we deserved?
I don't know. I thought first 10 minutes Arsenal looked really good, and I was a little bit worried for 10 minutes, thinking they were knocking the ball around with some confidence. We couldn't really get a hold of the ball, certainly for that kind of first very short period at the beginning of the game. And then I was getting a little bit worried and thinking this could end up being a bit of a trouncing if they start turning this possession into some serious chances. They could walk all over us. But then after that, it all kind of fell into place for us. I don't actually think that Arsenal were terrible. I've heard quite a few people say, "Oh, Arsenal were absolutely shocking." I don't think they were. I just think that they had a fair bit of possession, and what happened was their midfield was kind of passing the ball around a little bit between themselves. Sort of look up, and you've got Sam Hutchinson stood there with his arms crossed, and he's going, "Not a chance, mate. You're not coming past here. It don't matter how I do it. You are not getting past me. Just go back towards your own goal. Go on, sod off." And that's what happened. Just our midfield was so strong that Arsenal just did not have any hope of getting through it. To the point whereby they didn't even bother trying for half the game because they just couldn't figure out how to do it, which is brilliant and testament to just how well Hutchinson and Lees particularly played. Everyone played fantastically, but I thought Sam Hutchinson was outstanding. He was so good last night. So was Kieran Lee, so was Bannon. I started making a list of who played well and then realised, who's on this list? Oh, the whole team.
I did that.
Everyone
I've got it on my notes here.
Even Jeremy Hallan put in a really good shift. He was really strong. He was good. Lucas João, he held the ball up really well. He showed some really promising movement and some really promising touches, and I still think he's going to be really good, that lad.
Took his goal well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did take his goal well, and sometimes some of the ideas that he has, they don't quite come off, but you just see that little spark of something in him, and you think, this kid, when it all starts falling into place with him, when he's learnt a bit about this league and he's learnt a bit about the teams that he's playing against, he could be just brilliant. I mean, he could be serious Premier League quality, that lad.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, speaking about him learning, he did actually do a bit of an interview at the end of the match, and his English is coming on fantastically well as well. I know it sounds like a silly thing to say, but he's not been in the country very long, and certainly his English is a lot better than my Portuguese. And he seems like he's enjoying himself as well, doesn't he?
What did his tooth look like?
I've
not seen it. I've not seen his new tooth.
I think Semedo did some magic, and quite simply, you can't tell the difference.
Brilliant.
Oh, quite good.
I'm glad to hear that. I am glad to hear that. I think, do you know what? I think Giles not got enough credit for last night. He genuinely had a great game. And don't forget, he was playing on his own up front for most of the game. And we still scored 3. And he was involved in pretty much every single attacking play last night. He was fantastic. I think not only the goal was brilliant, obviously, and like James said, you can't really pick a man of the match. Like Hutch was amazing, Pudel, Bannon, Lee, they were all fantastic. But I think Jow really stood out last night. Nobody had a performance below 9, as far as I'm concerned. I think everyone was at least a 9, 10 out of 10. And I think it was a really, really good game. And I genuinely enjoyed it. I think Wallace as well deserves a shout out for last night.
Yep.
I think not just for last night. I think he's been brilliant the last few games, actually.
Yeah, I think he has come on leaps and bounds. I think that cross from Pudel for Wallace's goal was just unbelievable.
That whole move was great.
Yeah, it was.
Wallace took that unbelievably. If that was Rooney, we've said it before, if that was Rooney, it'd be on Sky Sports adverts all the time. It was a classic goal. But I think only minutes later he came close again. He was only a few inches when you look on telly. He wasn't far off scoring again, and what a goal that would have been. I think he deserves full credit for last night. I think him or Lee for me, or Lees, or Jow, or Bannon, or Pudel, or Hutch, whoever else, man of the match. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
They were all great, weren't they? Just a couple of other quick things that I thought about. One, the atmosphere at Hillsborough, which we've got to mention because the place was bouncing, wasn't it? And we've not seen that for years. So that was.
You don't understand how much it pained me to watch that on TV. I was just sat there and I was sat watching with a friend of mine who's an Arsenal fan, one of the good ones who's not an arsehole. And I was watching the game with him and he just looked at me when they started singing Hi-Ho Sheffield Wednesday and he said, "You don't want to be here, do you?" And I was like, dude, I would pay thousands to be there at that game tonight. The thing is, now I'm in a situation where I'm like, I've got to go back for one of the games, but when do I decide to go? Like, do I choose to go to?
When we can all go.
No, but I mean, do I go to the quarterfinal? And then what happens if we win that? I can't come back for the semis. So then do I wait until we get to the final or what? I don't know what to do. I'm a little bit stuck. But no, the atmosphere was incredible. I haven't seen it at Hillsborough like that since I was about probably 11 years old.
Your solution is just move back over here. Then it's sorted, isn't it? just come back home.
Move into my attic. I don't know if I've mentioned, but you can see the south stand from my attic.
Can you really?
You can.
You
So if you want to move in, let me know.
I have got parents there. I mean, I think that'd probably be my first move.
In Victoria's attic.
All right, whatever.
She's
Offer
got
rejected.
strange handprints on the wall. You don't want to be in her attic. It's not a good place to be. There were two young lads sat just in front of us at the game with their dad, and we kind of deduced from kind of when they were looking around and stuff that they were saying, we thought, oh, this is their first game, and it sort of reminded me when I first started going in the 90s, and I was just fascinated with everything to do with Sheffield Wednesday, and you just think for those two, for that to be their first game at Hillsborough, firstly is brilliantly, secondly is rubbish. Because obviously, we'll do well this season. At some point, everything will go wrong because it's Sheffield Wednesday. It always does. So they're lulled into this false sense of thinking that's what it's going to be like every week. But I just thought a brilliant first game for them. And I have to say as well, and it pains me to say this because I absolutely despise Arsenal, but their fans were awesome. Even when they were 3-0 down, they were still singing. Not many of them left early. Their fans were just tremendous, really good.
I think you've got to give a bit of credit to Wenger as well. His post-match interviews and stuff were quality. He at no point sort of made excuses. He just said Wednesday were the better side. They wanted it more. They were sharper than us. And I think that people can say what they want about Wenger, but he's a class act. He really is a very classy.
He can't put a coat on.
No, he cannot.
He's a very class man.
A couple of other things to mention. There was a bit of a tweet put out as well by Wednesdayite-ish, if you like. Jermaine Jackson, of course, Michael's brother, popped a tweet out there saying, I hear Chef Wednesday kicked some Arsenal butt. Now you know what I'm talking about. Which I think is just absolutely fantastic.
I didn't see that. That's brilliant. I'm going to retweet
Absolutely
that.
brilliant. And another fantastic thing from last night. I mean, unfortunately, I was lauding last night, so I didn't even get to listen to it on the radio and never mind watching it on the telly. So watching the highlights back, and obviously after the game, there was an interview with Zhao and Wallace, and Ozzy and Barney just sort of interviewed bombing over there on Sky, just bouncing away in the background. The funniest thing I've seen in years. That
Brilliant.
ever since they beat up the FA Cup. Oh, Ozzy, Barney. I think interview bombing is certainly something we need to see a lot more of at Hillsborough. But no, absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously we've completely ruined Arsenal's season. It's all going to go to pot, and you're welcome, Premiership. So that's Chelsea done, Arsenal sorted, and we'll see you real soon.
Can we just take a moment now just to clarify? Like, don't get me wrong, James and I were merry last night, understandably. But we've just beaten the best team in the Premier League, joint, 3-0 at home. We've not a bad side, and we're Sheffield Wednesday. So let's just embrace it for a moment and just understand that meaning of what we've just done. And it sounds a bit emotional. It is, but
It is emotional.
we've
There's no need to apologise for
genuinely,
it.
we have thrashed the best team in England.
And I think that's the
Also-
thing about it as well, isn't it? We didn't just scrape a win against a Premiership side. We didn't score a goal and then just sort of put 10 men behind the ball. We really, really played well, didn't we?
No, definitely. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, it's the best I've seen us play against that kind of opposition in my proper memory. That's not sort of stemming from what my dad's told me and stuff. And I mean, it was a second string Arsenal team, but I mean, I worked it out last night. I think their starting 11 was worth about £74 million.
Right.
So I mean, it's not a bad second string, is it? Ours was worth 3 million. 3 million, not including loan fees and that. So I mean,
At least New Hugh wasn't on the pitch, because then it wouldn't have been as uneven, would it? It'd have been like 76, 79. So
There was the really good stat, wasn't there, about the number of international caps that Arsenal had between them on the pitch last night, where it was just like 378, something like that they had between us, and we had about 60 between us, most of those for kind of countries that never win games or anything like that. And they had a World Cup winner on the pitch as well.
and our average age was actually younger than theirs as well.
It's just, you almost run out of superlatives, don't you, after a night like that. I just want to sit here and talk about it all night. The last night when we went back to the pub after the game, me and Vic and a few other people, and I was just sat there for about 5 minutes, just going, I don't know what to say. And honestly, 5 minutes before I could actually speak, I was just stuttering for it. I just couldn't do it. I could not think of anything to say to represent how amazing that 90 minutes of football was.
I was getting a load of tweets, calls, messages, all from South Africans, some of the South African players messaging me going, "See your boys doing well," and that sort of thing. It's wicked. I feel like I should be being paid by the Wednesday marketing team, because I'm sure I've created a load of Wednesday fans here.
I have an apology to make following on from last night, which is, two apologies really, well, more than two actually, because firstly I want to apologise to my dad, and secondly I want to apologise to the whole of the North Stand, because I stumbled one end of the stand to the other and knocked into a few people. So apologies to those people. I didn't, nothing personal. I was just struggling to see. So got all the way across to the other side of the North Stand, went up, found my dad, then proceeded to slip on the stair and more or less fall down in front of him. And then, and I don't know why I did this, I just went over and gave him a really big hug. And I wouldn't normally do that, and I think he could tell quite quickly that I was a little on the merry side. So apologies to my dad as well.
there was a kid sat in front of me last night. I don't know his name. It was a lovely little lad. Little lad, that's harsh. Sat with his dad. He was probably 12, 13, maybe 14. I don't know. Could have been 40 for all I know. And he was sat in front of me last night, and he turned round to me after the second goal, and he'd been chanting along because I was drunk. I've been out with James. And so every single song, I was full voice, stood up whenever I needed to stand up, whatever else. Don't go to toss. I'm not in normal seat. And this lad turned round to me at the second goal and said, "I bet you've not seen that for a while, missus." He went, "This is what I probably felt, what you probably felt like when I started watching Wednesday." I said, "Yeah, you're right, mate." I said, I started in the 90s. I said, "And this is the only way now. This is up. This is what you're going to see." And he went, "I hope I see all that you've seen. I bet you've had a great time tonight." And I honestly almost burst into tears. I was like, "You little lovely little boy." Like, and the thought is though that now what I've seen from 90 to 99, these kids now are going to get to see again, hopefully. And like my cousin, he's 16. He's not seen the glory years at all. His favourite player was Steve McLean for years, and Lee Peacock. But he was like, he texted me last night. He was like, "I see what you mean." And that was all he put. And I thought, for a 16-year-old lad to say that, it's something that I've been drilling into him for the last, 10 years, saying, "Come on, mate, you'll love him one day, I promise you, I promise you." And last night, to hear that from the kid in front, from my cousin, it was like, yeah, do you know what? We've probably made a few more fans tonight than we would have normally made. So, sod it, if they've not got a season ticket. They probably will now in 5-10 years. But I also, did anyone notice anything funny about the South Stand last night?
No.
Well, other than the fact that the people like making noise and moving.
And it was full, yeah.
Did nobody look slightly upwards towards the grandstand? No?
No. I thought they tried, but...
I don't know if anyone noticed, right? But there was like an infinity pool. There were cinema screens. There was a giant golden light from the middle of the South Stand last night, and I believe it said Gary Hooper above it.
He's finally got his box.
We've given him his box.
Hey!
Hooper demands. Sheffield Wednesday win 3-0. Sorted.
Just on what you were saying then about the renewed sort of sense of hope and stuff, don't you think, I know it's a cliche, but the idea of the hard times making the good times better and stuff, one thing that I think is amazing is that we can, that game before the result, before the performance, playing Arsenal at Hillsborough and seeing the ground like that and seeing the atmosphere like it was, it's nice that we are able to enjoy that because we've had this shitty period for so long. Like, that is special to us. And you know, when you support a team that's winning all the time, like if you support a team that you expect to win every single game.
Yeah.
So say you're Arsenal, and even if you play Bayern, you expect to win. You can never feel like what we felt last night. You'll never have that feeling of winning a game and actually feeling shocked. It's never going to happen. And I think that's incredible. It's one of the few things about supporting a club that's had a dry spell, I suppose.
Oh no. Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say erect?
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.oddballsaspeciality.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom.
Right, just before we move on from the Arsenal game and talk about the two games that we've got coming up, it is time for your favourite feature. It is Drunken Interview time.
Yay!
And you get two for the price of one, actually, this week, because last night in the Riverside Cafe after the game, myself and Vic, we enjoyed a couple of tipples. And
only a couple.
And we met up with a guy that actually some of you may have heard of because he's becoming quite successful at what he does. A guy called Matt Henshaw, who who is a singer, who is a big Wednesday fan, doesn't get to many games, but he was there last night. We met up with him. He's given us the exclusive first play anywhere of his new song that comes out later this year.
Really?
So we'll do that in a minute. But first of all, we had a quick chat with Matt.
Welcome to the official drunken interview of the Wednesday Week podcast. I'm James, Victoria's here.
Hello.
And we have a special guest with us. Good evening, Matt.
Hello, good evening. Very good evening.
For anyone that doesn't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Matt Henshaw, a singer. Peace, Love and Tea, 2015, 2016 I suppose. Search Google. People know how Google works these days, don't they?
Also a Wednesday fan.
Obviously.
You've been here tonight to see us beat Arsenal in a stunning 3-0 victory.
Amazing.
Give us your take on the game.
Absolutely faultless, really. All of them on and off the bench, didn't put a foot wrong. Arsenal weren't creating much, but any time they did, it was stamped out straight away because we looked so well organised, back to front. And I'm not sure I must have seen Wednesday play like that, but it's just such a distant memory. It doesn't feel like we have ever played like that, really. So, yeah.
Enjoyed it very much then.
Massively
enjoyed
it.
Obviously, you don't get to very many games.
No, I haven't had the chance since we played Leicester last in the Championship. But basically, yeah, because I've been on the road for the last 18 months pretty solidly, playing nearly every night from here to Aberdeen to Bristol, Berlin, all over the place. Not Berlin, actually, Bremen. But I've been to Europe, I've been all over, and it's nice to get a week off when we play in Arsenal, and then we got Forrest on Saturday. It's perfect, really.
We were talking about your where you're from and your history, because you're not a Sheffield lad. You are from Nottingham originally.
I'm a Notts lad.
You're a Notts
lad.
Yeah. So Forrest on Saturday is a big old game.
It's a big game, yeah. Because I was telling you earlier that by rights I should be a Notts County fan. My brothers, he were 15 years season ticket holder from when Colin were there till 2000s, and then first game I went to was Notts Millwall, early 90s. Notts lost 4-0 or 4-1. Brother said I weren't allowed to go again. Saw Chris Waddle on Match of the Day. Changed my life, really.
So you're obviously going to still be here for the Forest match on Saturday.
Yeah.
How big a game is that then for you as a Nottingham lad?
It's a big one. Most of my mates are Forest. I hope it'll become 10 unbeaten then, wouldn't it, as well? If we do that, and that'd be absolutely bloody perfect. Because I'll be honest, I have sat in the City ground with Forest fans whilst friends of mine are on the feet shouting at Tommy Spur that he's a CUNT, and they're beating us, and it's not a very nice feeling.
This is revenge time.
Hopefully. Let's not speak too soon, but I sincerely hope that it would be so nice. My Facebook and Twitter and phone, I'd feel quite happy.
Obviously, we've got to ask you while you're here that people that are maybe listening to this that don't know where you're at as an artist right now, just give us a bit of a lowdown as to how things are going for you.
Well, I've been doing it since I quit my job about 2 years ago, and I've been sort of heavily just playing and getting around for the last 18 months. Set up my own record label, Peace, Love and Tea Records. Put out 3 EPs last year, the last of which got in the top 30 on the singer-songwriter charts. I put out a single in September called Easier, which got up to number 12 on iTunes, 5 on Amazon, and 17 on Google Play. And hopefully onwards and upwards. I mean, just doing a lot of acoustic shows, meeting a lot of people, real people. That's what I like. And going to start going out with a band in the new year. And I've got the next single out early next year is called Belief Is All, and I'm hoping that this ties in with a beautiful cup run, and Wednesdayites will get into it. Because
have you considered a song called Carlos Had a Dream?
Carlos Had a Dream. I might do.
Lord H had a dream.
I might get onto the distributors and do Carlos Had a Dream. Do a cover of IO, Sheffield Wednesday. I'd love to do a gig here with the Rev, Pulp, Monkeys, all of them. Me on the bottom, just in small letters on the poster. I don't mind.
Lord Hillsborough.
Lord Hillsborough comparing and singing his songs.
Can I just ask then, the Wednesday Week podcast?
Yeah.
So you said earlier on a tweet, you've taken us across Europe, literally.
Yeah.
So where have we followed you to? Apart from where you've mentioned earlier, where have we been?
Followed me. Well, I've been all around the UK, obviously England, Scotland, and Wales. But mainly, what I've done, especially this January and February, I was in France, Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. And obviously, their radio's very foreign and not that good to me as an Englishman. That I just loaded me phone up with podcasts, and the Wednesday Week was one of them, obviously, and it's brilliant.
So you said it's quite interesting to saw this because you said that you quit your job 2 years ago. What
Yes.
were you doing when you quit your job? Because you had a fairly ordinary job, didn't you?
Yeah, I think that my job title might send you to sleep. I was a computer science sustainability research assistant.
And you now travel Europe as a musician.
Yes, yeah, best decision I ever made. The thing is, obviously I'm quite stubborn and I stick by these decisions, hence being a Wednesdayite. I didn't get paid to sing a song or make any music for about 6 months, but just something I had to do really. Back was against the wall, written these songs. First single was called It Ain't Easy, and I've joked with Lord H on Twitter that I should have called it Ain't Easy being a Wednesdayite in some of our darker days.
So with a mention of your tune, can you introduce the single that you're going to let us play on the podcast?
This one's called Belief Is All. This will be out early next year, hopefully to accompany a Sheffield Wednesday Cup run and victory.
Fantastic, Mark. That's absolutely brilliant. Seems like a really nice chap, James.
Yeah, he was. He was sound. He was really good. I felt a little bit sorry for him because he doesn't drink at all.
Oh, bless him.
So me and Vic and our respective friends, who we were all fairly. We just beat an Arsenal.
We were merry.
So we were merry.
Happy.
We were excitable.
Having a good night.
And he's actually, he's a fairly quiet, nice guy, and it was a bit like kind of feeding time at the zoo with us lot. So I felt sorry for him, but he's going to be there again on Saturday. We'll hopefully meet up with him again for a beer. So anyone that's knocking around Riverside Cafe, if you want to come and say hi to us and meet Matt, then please do.
Fantastic.
He was ace as well. He sat with us for ages. He just made himself at home. He was more than happy to talk to everyone that we were sat with. He was a really, really nice guy.
Peace, love and tea. Brilliant. Right, so have we got any other superlatives that we can throw out before we finish talking about the Arsenal game, ladies and gents?
Yeah, we won 3-0. Get in.
Unbelievable.
One little tweet that I saw one of the BBC guys do, he said something like a statement about Pep Guardiola saying to Lewandowski in training, "Why can't you play a little bit more like Lucas João?"
Brilliant.
Right then, ladies and gents, so we'll put the Arsenal game to bed. Of course, there was a little bit of news that got sort of rolled over due to the Arsenal win. Of course, Victoria's mentioned about the box situation already, but of course we've signed Hooper on loan, which was something which was spoke about at length at the beginning of the season, just before the transfer window came to an end. And I'm rather happy about this. I'm looking forward to seeing Hooper and Forrest. I think it's going to be a cracking front line, that.
You're right that it almost got a little brushed under the carpet. And I'm thinking about it today, and normally the day after we sign someone like Gary Hooper, who I know that there are some people that aren't huge fans of his, I think he's a cracking player, and at this level he's a brilliant addition and different to what we've got. Normally we would be like, going crazy about that. We'd be jumping for joy at signing someone like him. And actually it almost feels a little bit secondary, like it doesn't really matter. But I tell you what now, considering the fact that Nuhiu and Zhao, they're different players, but there's similarities between them. We've got someone now that gives us a different option. And, I don't think he'll start on Saturday, to be honest. I don't think he's anything like match fit. And even if he was, I'm not sure whether or not he would start straight away. But I think, if you imagine that as an option to come off the bench, when what the options that we've had have basically been swapping Nuhiu and Zhao, one coming on, one going off, it's such a good option to have now for us. So I think it's a great bit of business.
He's a poacher, isn't he? He's a poacher. That's what he's good at. He's not going to run at people. He's not going to sort of have 15 shots a game or anything like that. But I mean, I think I checked all the stats out, and I think, granted, he did spend some time in Scotland, which obviously isn't the greatest league in the world, but he scored 20 plus goals in 5 of his last 7 seasons. So if he can get half of that, then I think we'd be happy, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Over the moon, yeah.
I mean, the last couple of seasons, in my humble opinion, a poacher's something we've been missing. I mean, we've seen a few strikers at Hillsborough in the last sort of 3-4 years, but certainly we've not had anybody that sort of fulfills that role, have we?
No, not at all. And I mean, he scored from. He made 16 starts last year for Norwich, and he scored 12 goals and got 6 assists. And converted, I think he scored from 12 of the 30 shots he had. So I mean, that's not shit, is it? I mean, however way you want to look at it, I mean, it's not a bad record at all.
Not in the slightest, and of course you can't really argue with the numbers, regardless of where he's played. Obviously, we had a very similar sort of Stevie May situation, if you like, knocking him in all over in Scotland, and had a bit of an issue when he came down here. But obviously, he's not just come from Scotland, has he? He's been playing for Norwich for a while now, and it's not like he's not a shining light down there either. So no, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I for one am looking forward to seeing him.
Likewise. Right
then, ladies and gents. So let's crack on with a bit of Wednesday news. Of course, we mentioned the Rotherham game first of all. There was a little video that escaped, shall we say. It looked as though Chris Maguire had been celebrating with Mr. Bannon on a bit of a jolly on there. Do we think Maguire's obviously bouncing about, singing "If You Don't Blinking Bounce"? Do you think he's missing the Wednesdays a little bit there?
Once Wednesday, always Wednesday. We've said it before, haven't we? And that's why he was. You see, he's actually an amazingly good player, Chris Maguire. And the only reason he was crap on Friday is because he wanted us to win. Nothing to do with him being crap. It's just because he wanted us to win.
I think it's nice to see like an ex-Wednesday player still a Wednesday player, and even more so because he plays for Toy Town. That's just brilliant. And if you don't bounce, then you're a blade.
That's the one time Victoria has held her tongue when it's the
I
only time
really
she
did.
would have got
I
away
wasn't
with
even
it.
blurted out then. I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to swear.
Of course, we do have to say allegedly that is Mr. Maguire bouncing away there, but it does look a bit like him, doesn't it? You can't really argue with that one, can we?
It's even got the fill-in. He's got Chris Maguire's fill-ins. It's Chris Maguire.
Of course, sort of unrelated Wednesday news, but incredibly funny nonetheless. James, I believe you got a little story for us.
Yeah, I'm going to tell this story. I'm guessing that probably everyone that's listening will have read about this or heard about this and had a bit of a giggle anyway. But we've discovered that Victoria hasn't seen this story. So this is the story from Saturday of a Barnsley fan that went to see Barnsley against Fleetwood at Oakwell. And at half-time, he went to the toilet, sat down on the toilet, and fell asleep. And he slept for several hours, woke up about 11 o'clock in the evening. Obviously, everyone's gone. And my favourite thing about this is that he woke up having lost his mobile phone, his shoes, and his hat. His hat and mobile phone I can accept. How do you lose your shoes in a toilet cubicle? What on earth do you do in your sleep for that to happen? So anyway, he wakes up, walks out the toilet, obviously sets the alarms off, and then walks out. And I think what happened is he walked out onto the pitch, walked across the pitch, climbed on top of a porter cabin so that when the police came to check out what they assumed was this false alarm, he could wave at them and they rescued him and everything. I think he's admitted that he'd had a few drinks. This worries me slightly because I kind of see some similarities with myself, thinking, must remember, don't sit down on the toilet at half time. But just what a fantastic story that was. Absolutely brilliant. And in my other life, in my day job, I've been doing my absolute damnedest to actually track this guy down. I have got a phone number for his dad, but I've not been able to speak to him. So I don't think that he's particularly keen to have any publicity for his mishap, unfortunately.
I have two problems with this. So, well, three. One, I didn't know about it because I've been so busy with work. Two, who has a poo at the football ground? Nobody goes for a poo. No one has time to go for a poo.
You've met my mate Tom, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Mm.
Okay. But nobody physically, who can even sit on a toilet seat at Hillsborough? It's like
I don't think he was in a state to particularly worry about the hygiene.
I do. Like,
no, but him.
It's not hygiene. It's weather. It's temperature. I could not sit on a toilet seat at Hillsborough.
This is a Barnsley fan. Now, let's be fair.
It is, but who goes for a poo at the football? That's disgusting. Like, you just don't do it. I don't know what your boys' toilets are like at Hillsborough. That is disgusting.
Actually, my issue is that no one checked. How did no one check the toilet?
That's my other issue.
How crap are his mates that their mates not re-emerged for the second half? So not only they thought, oh, sod him, they've then sodded off at the end of the game and thought, oh, we'll not bother looking for him. James, he'll be right. He's probably
I'm not being funny, but if you turn around to me during the match and said, I'm going for a poo, I'd think, well, he's probably gone home now. No one will go and check for you. Who is going to go and check? At least the security guards or somebody. So, number one, who goes for a poo at the football? Tweet us. In fact, don't. That's horrible.
Why are you doing
it? No. And also, what security guards do not check the whole ground?
Or it was a steward that really needed a new pair of shoes and a mobile phone.
That is also true. It's horrible. Don't poo at the football. That'd be a lesson to you all.
Life lesson from Victoria.
That
don't
is
poo
it.
at the football.
Do not poo at the football.
And we've also got this week's hashtag. Hashtag don't poo at the football.
Yes.
Swiftly moving on. We have any other football or Wednesday related news this week?
Yeah, only thing I was going to mention is just a very quick congrats to Kieran Westwood, who's been called up to the Ireland squad for their forthcoming Euro 2016 playoff game against, I don't know who it's against Croatia? Might be making that up. And I think it's Bosnia, isn't it? Bosnia-Herzegovina that they're playing. Anyway,
it's Bosnia,
yeah. So well done to him. Good luck as well. I do consider myself to be half Irish, even though I've been there twice in my life. So I'll be rooting for Ireland in the playoffs, and it'll be brilliant to see Westwood get some game time for them.
Absolutely, all the best, Westy, old boy. Right then, so let's crack on and look at the games to come, shall we? Of course, after Arsenal, we're going to have a bit of a situation here where we need to sort of rein ourselves in because, of course, there are no easy games unless it's Arsenal. And the next game we've got Forest, and they're in a bit of a turmoil themselves, aren't they, at the moment?
Do you know what? Before I even knew that Joe was coming on the podcast tonight, I did favourite one of his tweets earlier on this morning, which was, or it might even have been last night, which was an absolutely brilliant point that Joe made, and that, in fact, you'll probably want to mention this yourself anyway, about just how important Saturday is.
No, definitely. I think that it'll all be in vain if we end up losing to Forest on Saturday. Then I think it's a waste of time even beating Arsenal, because at the end of the day, the chances of us winning the League Cup are very, very slim. Whereas the chances of us getting promotion at this rate are good, and I think it would be a shame if we go on from this Arsenal game and then end up losing our next two league games, and it all just seems a bit of a waste of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, agreed. It's we're in great form in the league. That's the thing that really matters. A cup run is brilliant, and it's fun. I don't think anyone thinks we're genuinely going to win the League Cup. It's great to beat teams like Arsenal and stuff like that. But Carlos seems to have his head screwed on, and I'm sure he's had the players in today and said to them, right, okay, you've had a little bit of a celebration. Now we get back down to work, because we've got a game on Saturday against a team that's not in great form. They're not a great team this season. It's not only a winnable game, it's a game that I think that we expect to win, and we should expect to win. But there's a lot of hard work to be done to make sure that happens. So I'm really pleased that, I hope very much that Carlos has kind of done that today.
I don't think we have to worry about that. I think Carlos has certainly got his head well screwed on when it comes to this kind of thing. Obviously, the danger that we have here is the danger that Arsenal fell into with us. Is saying, well, we're flying, we don't have to worry about it, we can just turn up. And I don't think Carlos is going to let that happen, are we? Obviously, Forest have been cracking. Last season they started ridiculously well, and then it all went a bit wrong, shall we say. And obviously there's been issues with the gaffer, and apparently he's on his way out, and one thing and another. And quite simply, hopefully it's going to go in our favour if we can just sort of stay on track and do what we're doing at the moment.
I think we've got the right players for it. I think we've got players that are not going to be swayed by results and that sort of thing. Guys like you mentioned here, like Sam Hutchinson, Kieran Lee, who aren't going to rest on the laurels, and I think you're always going to get 100% from them. And that's what you need after a win like this. You need players who are not going to get sucked into the whole hype of what's just happened, and they're just going to sort of go with the task at hand. And I think that we've got enough attitudes and players in the squad like that we should be all right. I mean, as long as we don't lose, I think it'll be fine. My only worry is that we play Forest and we lose, and then it all just seems in vain, really.
My only worry about Forest is that they've got Chris O'Grady playing for them, and so far this season we have very successfully avoided the curse of the former player, to the point whereby it is clearly going to happen at some point with someone. So that's the only thing I'm a bit worried about with Forest.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love O'Grady to bits, and he was a cracking player. But again, if that's the level, if you like, that they're playing at the moment, is a player that we sort of didn't give a game to a couple of seasons ago. Again, is it something that we do have to worry about?
Probably not. It's just the fact that at some point that curse is going to get us. So it might be on Saturday. I liked Chris O'Grady. I never thought that he was a fantastic footballer. I think he's punching above his weight at this level, and it's probably more likely that he has one of those games where you just don't notice that player on Saturday. I think that Tom Lees and Glenn Louvens will be in such high confidence after Tuesday night, when they were both awesome, that I'm not sure they'd be bothered if Sombalonga was playing. They wouldn't be frightened. Anyone that Forest could throw out there, they're not going to be frightened by it. So it's all it's positive, isn't it? It feels like a good time to be playing them. They're not in the best of form. Behind the scenes, the club's in a bit of a mess. The fans all hate the owner there, and it's all gone very wrong in the last kind of 6 months or so. They've got, and I'll be honest, I think they've got a terrible manager there. I've never rated him as a manager. I think we're playing them at the right kind of time to hammer another nail into their coffin, if you like.
Always happy to be hammering nails into Forrester's coffin.
Yes.
And then, of course, after that, there is a slightly more difficult game coming up on the Tuesday night. We've got the league leaders at home, Brighton, and it has to be said they're looking very, very good at the moment, aren't they?
It's relentless, isn't it? This league, not just this league, but with the League Cup games as well. It's just relentless. So Forest on Saturday, and then Brighton on Tuesday, who, they've been playing some good football this season. I think the last couple of games they've not been amazing, but they're still getting results, and that's the sign of a team that could well go all the way when they're still getting wins and they're still getting draws in games where they're not really turning up. That will be a hell of a test, potentially the biggest test of the season for us in the Championship so far. Coming off the back of the Forest game, which will be another physical game, Carlos has got some tough choices to make in terms of the team that he puts out for that one to keep everyone fresh for the next game after that, which is, I think, Charlton, isn't it, on the Saturday after that. I've not seen a lot of Brighton this season. I don't really know what to make of them. I think I saw them on the first game of the season when I think they played on the Friday night, and they looked quite good then, and seen quite a few of the highlights, and they seem pretty tidy. I think we've got to take confidence from the other teams that we've played who've been up there or thereabouts, and the performances that we can put in, and that we can win these games.
I think it's going to show our credentials. I think if we can come out of these 2 games with at least 4 points, I think that'll really sort of be a statement of intent for the playoffs, and I think that, like you say, two teams. I mean, as much as Forest is struggling at the minute, it's still a big team, and I think that beating a team like Forest will also give you another push going into the Brighton game. So if we could get 2 wins out of these two, we'd be up and around the playoffs. Depending on other results, we could even be in there. So I mean, that's what we want to see in it. We want to see them pushing on now, and I reckon 4 points in the next 2 games, I think that'd be really good for us.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So, sort of as we speak right now, the sort of second half of the League Cup is just sort of coming to an end. The results that are in: Liverpool have beaten Bournemouth, City have beaten Palace, Southampton have beaten Villa, and we're just waiting for United and the Middlesbrough match to finish at the moment as we're recording. It's still at 0-0. So the draw has not taken place just yet, but it does give us the opportunity. Who would you like to play out of that lot?
Yeah, two preferences for me. I would love to play Liverpool, either at home or away. I don't mind. I would love to go to Anfield. Never been. So I would love a trip to Anfield. I'd also love them to come here. After last night, to be honest, I really want a home draw. I love going to away games. I love it. It's a pain on a Tuesday night. If it was a Saturday afternoon in the FA Cup, fine. But so yeah, Liverpool at home, I would absolutely love. Other than that, and this really is flying in the face of what I've seen every Wednesday fan tweet this evening while we've been waiting for the draw, I'd actually quite like us to get Southampton away, just so we can all go down and gate crash and camp at Fudge's for the night.
Team Fudge! Let's all do it. Why not?
I'm sure Mrs. Fudge will be very pleased.
I don't care. I've got my blow-up bed ready. It's in the cupboard. It's ready to go. Come on, Fudge. We're coming for you.
I'd love Man United at home. I'd love to have to get a team like Man United back at Hillsborough again would be. I mean, one of the earliest games I remember was watching Wednesday play United. I still got the programme at home. I think it was about 1997, 98. And I'd love to see a team like Man United back at Hillsborough. Just seeing someone like Wayne Rooney on the Hillsborough turf would be different class. That's a sort of draw that could possibly make me dip into my savings and think, fuck it, I'm coming home.
Whoever it is, we're going to stuff them anyway. Crikey, who have we got to fear now? Just beat Arsenal, for goodness sake. The Wednesday week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's cavcare.org.uk. Right then, ladies and gents, so that's going to bring us towards an end of this week's show. A couple of things I would like to mention. First of all, big, massive Wednesdayite Jonathan Prendergast, of course, if you're over there on Twitter, at Conisbrough Owls over there on Twitter, is abseiling down the Owing building in Sheffield on Saturday, all in aid of the Red Cross. So please, it's a huge Wednesday. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you remember the Planty updates from not this pre-season, but one before, when we were out in Portugal. That was Jonathan who did those updates for us. It's a cracking chap, a massive Wednesdayite, and we'll stick the link in for his Just Giving page on the bottom right now, so you can see him. So if you want to throw a few shekels his way, as I say, all in a good cause. Victoria, I believe you've got a good cause coming up as well as Per.
I do indeed. Does anyone here remember a certain lanky midfielder, mid-90s, called Carlton Palmer?
Oh, I think I've heard of him, yeah.
Name rings a bell.
Yeah.
Did he used to smoke? No, I can't remember what it was. No, it's gone.
No. And he's also not Liam Palmer's dad. So, but he 3 years ago came up with a brainchild for Cavendish Camps Care, where he wanted to do a 10k run, and he had no idea what for. Got in touch with us, and we said, "Do it for us." He said, "Yeah, brilliant." We raised £18,000 on his first run, right, which is that's most of my target for the year. And he was incredible. Now, obviously, for the last 2 years, he's been in Shanghai doing his coaching, but he's still 100% behind us. And we have a run on the 15th of November. You can walk, jog, or you can run. Right, it's www.sheffieldtogether.co.uk. If anyone can get involved, please email me v.wood@cavcare.org.uk. Please get involved. Get your team, get your workmates, teammates, anyone involved. Let's get this going and let's smash it together. Let's support local families affected by cancer. Let's do this.
Fantastic, absolutely. Get involved, and of course you can also use Victoria's email addresses for all sorts of other ridiculousness as well.
Work email. Personal email is victoriaw1867.
Don't give that one. What on earth is wrong with you, woman?
It's the one that I don't check. It's fine.
Of course, if we do want to find you on the social medias, my darling, where can we do that?
I am at victoria1867, or I am also at Cav Cancer Care on Twitter. Get in touch, do the run, please. I beg you, I absolutely beg you, get involved. Let's absolutely smash it together.
James, old boy, if people want to get all of your radio-based nonsense over there online, where can we find you?
You can get me on Twitter at James Marriott. That's RRT. No, I don't own any of the hotel chain. Alternatively, as ever, me and Vic will no doubt be in the Riverside pub on Saturday. Probably slightly worse for wear because we're also partying on Friday evening as well. So we'll maybe not be stood at the door waiting to enter the pub at 12 as we often are. It may be 12:15 this week.
10 past. Let's go 10 past.
10 past fine, yeah, that's fine.
Of course, Joe, I'm sure there's nobody that's listening to this that isn't following you already with your 15 gajillion followers. But if people want to find your statiness over there online, where can we do that, old boy?
You can find me at Yes We Cran, YESWECRANN, if you want to come and see my many pointless stats that I put out there.
Of course, you can follow me over there on the Twitterage at Lord H. That's L0RD_H. You can follow the podcast at TWWcast over there on Twitter too. You can get us on Facebook as well, over there at facebook.com/The Wednesday Week. And of course, if you would like to email us, you can do that at twwpodcast@gmail.com. Of course, please, ladies and gents, while you're out there, while you're listening to the show, look down at your iPhone right now and just click that 5-star review, or if you're watching on YouTube, just press that little thumbs up like button and help us to spread the word of the podcast and help us grow the whole thing all in all there for us. It's been a pleasure as always, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for joining us, and we shall see you real soon. We're coming back. we're coming back, we're coming. Wednesday, you're coming back, we're coming back. Worn out on me shirt, we're coming. Rumble oh, still gleaming, we're coming back. 15 years ahead, we're coming. Never stop me dreaming.
On one this time, Mike Hunt. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack? Oh, he does, and he scores! Anything Paul Gascoigne can do, Chris Waddle can do.
Ball in. Right stick on. It's going to come to John Hart. And Hurst. Goal! David Hurst equalises for Sheffield Wednesday. Trevor Francis' team right back in it.
Worn out on me shirt, we're coming. Rumble oh, still gleaming, we're coming. 15 years ahead, we're coming. Never stop me dreaming. Worn out on me shirt, we're coming. Rumble oh, still gleaming, we're coming. 15 years ahead, we're coming. Never stop me dreaming. Worn out.